a client recently who told me that they had a lasting power of attorney, health and welfare, in place for a family member who was in hospital. And the hospital simply failed to recognise it. I'm Nino Cuffaro, I'm a solicitor, and this is Talk Legal with Nino. Now, this video isn't about knocking hospitals. They generally do a great job. But this particular hospital wasn't equipped to deal with the patient's complex needs. He really needed to be moved to a more appropriate setting. The hospital claimed to be relying on an historic SALT assessment, that's a speech and language therapy assessment, which deemed that the patient was nil by mouth when unconscious, which kind of makes sense if he's unconscious, but then insisted it remained in place despite the patient regaining consciousness and showing clear signs that a revised assessment was appropriate. So the hospital put a DOLS in place, and that's a deprivation of liberty safeguards assessment, and told the attorney that the patient couldn't be moved due to the DOLS being in place. Wrong. The hospital were breaching the DOLS in the first place for failing to recognise that the patient had appointed the attorney to make health and welfare decisions for them whilst they still had capacity. And that means the attorney had the legal right to make those health and welfare decisions, which included deciding to move them. And this happens a lot more than you think. I advise them to raise a safeguarding and get in touch with the patient's social worker to help facilitate a move to a more appropriate health setting. Took a bit of time, but the move happened. Now, we trust what hospital staff tell us. Of course we do. They save our lives. But remember, you're an attorney and you've been appointed for a very good reason. And that's to make decisions that are in the best interests of that person. If something doesn't seem right, don't stay quiet. Make the decisions that you've been appointed to make. Nobody expects you to have all the answers. And if you're not sure, get in touch with your solicitor. Now, on a completely unrelated but equally important note, I read this morning that in Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig. And that's because they're social beings and get really lonely. That's got to be the best law ever. Except now I'm thinking about all the lonely guinea pigs here in England, and that makes me a little bit sad. Anyway, if you found that useful, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more bite-sized videos on legal stuff, and happy guinea pigs.